Howdy guys, it's Luke at Geek and Scenics, and in this video I'm going to take you through how I built some very simple jungle bases for your Catachan jungle fighters, your Star Wars Legion, or any other game that requires some form of jungle setting. So sit back, relax, and I'll catch you after this. So first up, grab yourself your bases that you're going to be using. Now a lot of bases that a lot of people are going to be using are going to be having holes in them. Now a lot of people tend to stick, milliput or some other sort of filler putties and things in there. If you're building bases like I do, I wouldn't worry about using something like that. Use the modelling compound, which we're going to use to adhere the stones and the twigs and everything else we're going to put on these down. 1, it creates a nice landform. 2, it's a lot cheaper than the counterpart. And 3, it dries a lot quicker. We can be moving on in about 20 minutes. So put some in a pot, add a bit of water, and turn it into a nice paste. Once you've got that to the consistency of like cottage cheese, for example, what we need to do is put that onto your base and shape it. The way to do this is apply it with a tongue depressor or even your fingers and just move it and squash it round till you get your desired shape. Now we're going to be using some anthracite basing slate from my range. All the links to this product are in the links below. Now for applying this to the base, all I'm going to do is literally just press a couple of pieces into the modelling compound and then move it on top of it to sort of simulate the ground coming over the rocks. I don't bother with much glue, I don't bother with anything like that. The compound is enough just to hold this in place and glue it all together. You can use glue if you wish. People ask me all the time about ground covers for jungle bases, and I always refer to this product. This is a tree canopy from my range. The one reason I would tell people to get this is, 1, it's got a very nice fern-like texture which you can use for plants and other things. The other reason is you can make some lovely ground covers from it. And all you've got to do is rub the back off where it's dry, and you get some really nice sort of mulchy, like bark type leaf foliage, like a tropical or a forest or jungle floor. You just get all that really nice ground cover, and it's part of the product that you use for your trees or whatever sort of bushes or whatever else you're using the product for. It's like a free product, and I advise to get this because you can do all your bases just with this one product, and just buying one sheet like this should be do a vast amount of one army. Okay, and all you've got to do is, like I say, rub it off, chuck it in a sieve it through, and then you get the really nice fine stuff. But don't throw the coarse stuff away, because we can use that for extra leaf foliage and bark foliage later. And as you can see, that gives you like a really nice sort of realistic jungle floor covering, and that's just the base cover. So when you build it up, it gets really nice. The one thing I like to do is just add a bit of the brown sawdust from my range. I put that in. 1, it does make it go further, it adds a finer touch to it, but that's just a personal preference, you don't have to do that. Now with some twigs, what I like to do is just get some super glue and get that forest canopy kit, and just stick some finely pulled parts onto there to act like sort of fern foliage, just something as some detail. This is going to be like a base for like a little sniper, so I just thought I'd put a bit of growth on the fallen tree, dead bark, whatever you want to call it, and you just build this up by putting some very small amounts just stuck on top of each other, and give it some spray with some activator if you've got some. And the way we attach this to the base is exactly the same way we did with the slate. Just break the part that you want, and then just stick it in place and just push it into that compound. Do check with a model, because while the modelling compound is wet, you have got time to reposition the tree bark forwards, backwards, wherever you need to put it, just to get your model in the perfect position. Now I'm going to be doing some painting. I don't like to do much painting when I'm doing my terrain or my basing, but sometimes you have to do, especially when I've used a slate. I need to paint some rocks up. So I'm just selecting a couple of colours, some browns, some greys, some creams, and a fancy brush. Now go on with a base brown. any brown will do because we're going to be covering this up with the ground cover, but I paint this all over the rock, I paint it all over the base entirely. That's the same with the other one. I do not paint the branch, I don't see that there's any point because it's a natural colour to start with, so I'll just leave that the same colour. Now with dry brushing, I use the base brown, this on my brush, I use some dark greys and light greys, and I mix this up on the paper towel and just keep dry brushing. I keep using lighter bits of grey, darker bits of brown. I just keep dry brushing this up in areas till I get a really nice natural look. I'm not really a fan of painting the rocks, as I've said, I prefer plaster and the leopard spot technique, but you can't do that, so you have to dry brush, and the way I do it is just by mixing loads of colours together, about 5 different tans, creams, greys and browns, till I get a look that I'm happy with, and it's just a matter of blending the colours together as you're dry brushing, using a very fancy brush. Do remember to look after your brushes and clean them. These unicorn brushes and mermaid brushes will be available very shortly. Now, put some fast dry basing glue down. Reason we do this is just so we can move on to the next steps a lot quicker. And you just put a couple of drops on, move that round with a very special brush, and make sure you cover all the ground area completely with this. Do keep about a mil layer on there, so the glue will take on board the ground cover that we made earlier and hold that in place. And once that starts to dry, you'll have a really nice natural looking ground cover, and that's just a waste product off the back of the tree canopy. Now remember the bit that I told you to leave in the sieve? What we're going to do is going to put some of the matte sealant spray on top of the bases, and then we're going to use the coarser bits and just squeeze them between your fingers and sprinkle them onto the bases, and this will give you like leaf fall, you know, like fallen leaves. It'll give you sort of dried bark. It'll just give you some nice forest floor covering, and it looks natural because it is. And then just seal it with some matte sealant spray. Now for some plastic plants, I wasn't going to use any, but I thought in them cheap trees that I've used in videos before, I'll use the small trees that I'm never going to use as some really nice ferns. These are about a pack of 10 for £3 on Amazon. If I can find a link, I'll pop them in the links below before you. But they're very cheap palm trees. They're a bit tacky, but they do. All you've got to do is trim them away from the main head of the plant, put some thick gel super glue down, and then push them in place. This is just the head of one palm tree, and then what I'm doing is the leaves that I've cut off, I'm individually sticking them on around the base of it to sort of get a really full and bigger look. I do that on both bases. Now with the fallen tree one where the sniper's sitting, I wanted to put it up against the log, so I stick them in individually. It is a bit fiddly. A pair of tweezers would make this job a little bit easier, but if you've got some really thick gel super glue, it does hold them in place long enough for you to get the look that you want. And just keep building these up till you're happy. Now with painting them or dry brushing in, I just went with a light green dry brush on top. However, I do know a lot of people just chuck a wash on them. Just do what you want to do to make your base look how you want to do. I just wanted to add a bit of a lighter green to the base. And then we've just got to glue the models down using a bit of gel super glue and activator. If you would like any sort of super glues or anything used in this video, do check my website below at www.geekgaming.co.uk. We are still posting as well at the moment, so if you need any hobby supplies, do check the links below. Once they're on there and they're glued firm, all I'm going to do is just paint the rims of the base as black. However, I do prefer a dark brown rim, but I thought I'd try black to see what I thought. What do you paint your base edges? Black, brown, or a contrasting colour to what you've done the base? Let me know in the comments below. And once you're done, they'll look like that. I'm very happy with them. Let me know what you think, guys. Using natural products. I added the plastic plants as just another alternative, but I think even the natural and the plastic works well together. What do you think? Let me know. Alright guys, I'll see you in a sec. So guys, what did you think? Using a couple of basic products from my range, and if you'd like to support me, do check all the links below because everything I've used in this video will be down there. I've been getting a lot of questions asking about jungle bases and what do I use or how would I produce that or can I make a base ready? Simple is, I can't put plants and stuff into a base ready and make it work. The way to do it is to build it up using a couple of products like that. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. If you want to support me, check my shop obviously. There's Patreon and everything else, all the links to like Element Games and things like that below. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you again for the next video. Love, love, love.